Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the latest edition of the No Holden Back podcast. My name is Luke Holden. Currently sitting here with my dad, Ben Holden. It's a rainy day out here in Michigan, but besides that, how are you doing today?
Doing good, Luke, and glad to be back with you. And we haven't done one of these in a week.
Yes.
You've had some other things you've had to tend to. It's nothing to worry about, but at this point, so glad to have you back next to me, and always good to ride shotgun with you, buddy.
Yeah, definitely excited to be back and talking about some pretty interesting things today.
I have no clue where he's going, so we're just going to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, so first of all, last night was the official 2020 Premier Lacrosse League Collegiate Draft.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go through the both rounds. They do it in 2 rounds. Each team has their selection. Okay. The Archers last year played for the first overall pick, and they had won that game, so they had the first overall pick.
Who did what this past year?
The Archers Lacrosse Club. They had played in the play-in tournament for the first round draft pick since they got knocked out of the playoffs.
Who'd they draft last year?
Last year they had drafted Pat Spencer.
Yeah.
Obviously, he is not playing in the Premier Lacrosse League at the moment. He decided to play at Northwestern in the Big Ten for basketball last year.
You got to see him play.
Yep, against DePaul.
I had a game there in December, right before Christmas, right?
Yeah, it was.
That was a fun trip with you.
Yeah, it was. It was a good time.
Good to see Pat,
right
too.
In downtown Chicago. But to go through this year's draft, the Archers once again did have the first overall pick. They took Grant Ament, attackman from Penn State. Last year in the NCAA tournament, Penn State got all the way to the finals against Yale, ended up losing. But you had, guys like Mac O'Keefe, obviously Grant Ament, 2 great players. Ament has decided to not redshirt. He's going to play pro. Mac O'Keefe is staying another year. Would have been kind of cool to see if they maybe would have connected at some point, if they would have both gone to the draft this year. But definitely pretty interesting to see that. Paul Carcaterra, basically his look at Grant Ament is he's a quarterback. He's your offensive coordinator. And he's a goal scorer as well. So, to add that to, Will Manny and Marcus Holman at attack. You also have Tom Schreiber at midfield.
Who's at LSM?
That's a pretty good pick. Scott Ratliff is at the LSM position for the Archers.
Yeah.
They definitely look pretty good. The Archers' second-round pick was Jack Rapine from Johns Hopkins. Very good defenseman, good solid pull, was very good at Johns Hopkins in his career there. But to go through the rest of the picks, pick 2 in round 1 was Brian Costabile from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
He went to
seen him a few times.
Went to Atlas Lacrosse Club. That's a pretty good addition for Atlas, I think.
They got a nice team too.
Yeah, they do.
We talked to a couple of their guys. A couple weeks ago, right?
Yes, Trevor Baptiste and Eric Law.
Yep.
Just to add, Costabile has been one of the best midfielders in college lacrosse the past couple of years.
Yes.
Done some great things at Notre Dame. And I think he's going to be just a good addition to that midfield with Paul Rabel. You got Rob Pennell, who was added in the entry draft.
Yep.
It's going to be a pretty good team. Definitely an Atlas. Definitely, I think they're looking to improve on the pretty mediocre season, I would say, that they had last year. So
sure.
Definitely not what they were expecting, especially with Paul Rabel being on that team.
Right.
But the expansion team, the Water Dogs, at pick number 3 in the round 1 had selected Michael Krause from Virginia. Very good attackman, very sharp, good goal scorer. He's a bit of a bigger guy, which I think, having size down low at attack always helps for sure. Can kind of put him in the middle a little bit, and but he's also a little bit of a stretch shooter too. So I think Krause is a good pickup for the Water Dogs. It'll be interesting to see how they start their season being an expansion team. They got some pretty good players on that team though, so I think they'll do well.
Okay.
Chrome with pick number 4 took Tom Rigney from Army, defenseman. And Chrome
just
really
came up in the rotation. I didn't wear it, but good for Tom.
Yes. For Chrome, they had the offense all there, with guys like Jordan Wolf, Justin Gutterding, Romar Dennis, who you got to call a couple games for.
Saw him a lot. Saw both those guys from Duke you mentioned too.
Yes.
Both. You were at a game with me with Steve Panarelli, I want to say, when Wolf played. I believe he was playing for Rochester when you went to Ohio with me that year.
Yeah, he was playing for Rochester at the time.
Yep.
So I think, Chrome throughout the entry draft and even the collegiate draft were looking to improve their defense. One thing that wasn't a strong point for them, they had so many one-goal games last year that they just ended up losing in lots of overtime games. And I think Rigney will be a good pickup for them, especially being a guy from West Point.
He's strong and tough.
Exactly.
And I've never seen Tom play, but I guarantee you he is. And his coach, Joe Alberisi, he's a good man.
Yes.
And coaches him up hard there along the banks of the Hudson.
Yeah, so that's a good pickup for Chrome for sure.
Yep.
Chaos takes Matt Gaudette from Yale, another attackman. Chaos's attack line is already great. Connor Fields, Josh Byrne. They got a lot of other guys. Miles Jones, another one who's pretty notable.
He's notable, all right.
Jared Newman, Matt Reese, Troy Ray at the defense.
They got Newman, huh?
Yes.
Providence guy.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't say that Gaudette is an addition to the bomb squad per se, but he's definitely an addition to the goal scoring addition there. Scored a lot of goals at Yale, won 2 national championships with them. Was a big part of both of those national championship runs. So he's a really good pickup for Chaos. Redwoods, they had to fulfill their face-off position, losing Greg Gurenlian, the Beast.
Yep.
So they decided to take Peyton Smith from Marist.
Okay.
I personally don't know a whole lot about him. But
makes 2 of us.
As far as I'm aware, he was a pretty good face-off guy. TD Ireland, I believe he's playing in the MLL. He was not in this draft.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. What's your take on that? He is the lacrosse insider here on this podcast, folks.
It's really, at this point, it's anybody's choice. Maybe Ireland wants to focus more on a job.
Could be, yeah,
he doesn't
true.
see lacrosse in his future, but that could change. Obviously, we had the entry draft this year from a lot of guys that were in the MLL last year that came in. Rob Pennell, Zach Courier.
Yeah.
There's so many other names as well, but it's possible we could see TD maybe make his way into the PLL if he really feels like it's an opportunity.
Right.
But I totally respect his decision to go play in the MLL. Still, obviously, a very competitive league.
No question.
But it is definitely pretty interesting to see him not be in this collegiate draft for sure.
Yeah.
But Peyton Smith from Marist goes for pick 6 in round 1 to Redwoods.
Okay.
The last pick of round 1 is Sean New, defenseman from Holy Cross, going to Whipsnakes. They lost a few guys on the defensive end throughout the entry draft, so a good pickup for them. He's a strong defenseman, good body type of player, good inside player as well. He'll be good for Whipsnakes on the defensive end. Going on to round 2, the Water Dogs took Matt DeLuca from Delaware, the goalie. He's had a pretty good career at Delaware as far as I know, and I think it's a good pickup for Water Dogs. Just more guys to compete at the goalie position. Everyone knows how important that is.
Absolutely. Got to start from the cage out.
Definitely,
yeah.
Exactly. And then with pick number 9, Chrome take Reese Eddy, LSM from BU, Boston University. He's another good pickup, goal scorer, bigger guy, good defender from up top. I think he's another good defensive addition for Chrome. They definitely could use another LSM for sure. Atlas with pick number 10 take Aiden Hines from Yale, defenseman. Again, another national championship winner being at Yale. Good defenseman. I think it's a good pickup for Atlas. They have a very good defense with guys like Kyle Hartzell, Tucker Durkin already, but just to add more to that, Caleb Robinson as well, the koala from Australia, who played at Stevenson University, Division III lacrosse. So pick number 11, taken by the Archers. Once again, I said it earlier, Jack Rapine from Johns Hopkins, another great defenseman, good addition to that team, just to kind of add more, defensive prowess to them. They don't need much of it, but they do need a little bit of help. They did lose some guys in the entry draft for Archers. And for Chaos, this is an interesting one. Certainly Andy Towers might catch a little bit of flack for this. It's certainly a risk-reward decision here. But Jeff Teat from Cornell.
I love him.
You had the opportunity to call a few of his
games. Yeah. Love him.
Great, very, very good attackman.
He's incredible.
The reason why it could be a risk-reward pick is because he is not confirmed yet if he's going to play professionally right away or if he's going to redshirt and go to a different school.
Well, and their coach just went, Peter Milliman got the job at Hopkins, week or two ago?
Yep, and they had the addition of John Grant Jr. as the offensive coordinator there.
And Connor Busick's now leading the charge at Cornell.
Yes.
So he's took over there as their coach, and congrats to him. That was something we talked with, was it Eric we talked with? Eric Law we talked with about him?
I
think it was.
I believe it was,
yeah. They're teammates, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So they, they have a relationship. And I mean, Jeff Teat, like, I'm no expert on lacrosse. I love the sport. Obviously, he's played it for, 7 years now.
Yep.
I'm going to play in college next year. And so I've grown to love the sport. Obviously, he was a hockey player up until, 12, 13 when you switched over?
13, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. And, I got to tell you this. I mean, I don't think I've done it in this forum, publicly. But this kid right here, he helped make me a better broadcaster as a lacrosse play-by-play guy. It was a fun sport for me to call anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say it was easy because nothing's easy, but the transition for me going with such a background in hockey and the speed and the pace and all those things of the game, the on-the-fly changes,
right?
That was easy for me. But the intricacies of the rules, he made me better. I mean, in a couple more episodes, you might see me like out here. It's, hey, I'm Luke Holden. It's the No Holding Back podcast. I fired my dad.
Yeah, right.
So I just wanted to give you a little props for that, dude.
Yeah,
you really did help me, those years in high school and when you started playing.
Yeah.
Because I learned more about the game. Things I didn't know. I mean, I always had Evan Washburn next to me or Panarelli or Sheehan Stanwyck.
Yep.
That were incredible players in their time. So just wanted to give my man a little shout out there.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
I don't foresee your contract being up anytime soon. So we'll definitely
for this.
Well, yes, for this. So
there isn't one.
Exactly. So we'll be.
We're just doing it for some fun and to keep fresh. That's
yes.
why we're doing it. And and Luke said to me about 5-6 weeks ago, hey, why don't we do a podcast? That's kind of how it all spawned, to be quite honest with you. So anyways.
Exactly. So Jeff Teat taken by Chaos.
Good stuff. Great player.
Again, they have Matt Gaudette. If Teat does decide to play this summer, I mean, you already have Connor Fields shot for
nasty.
Their offense already is probably one of the best in the league, I would say.
Is there? So again, I'm going to our expert here in lax.
Yeah.
And in motorsports.
Yes.
Motorcycle racing, anyways. Yep. Who would you say who does Jeff Teat remind you of? As the position he plays as an attackman, he's a smaller guy, but as we know, it doesn't matter in lacrosse. You can be 5'6" and play this game.
I mean,
who does he remind you of?
I would say he's a good mix of Jordan Wolf. He's very fast.
I thought you might say him.
Very good with his stick.
Yeah.
He's a good shooter.
Yep. Great shooter.
So I would say I would put him in. I would probably put him as a mix of Jordan Wolf and Marcus Holman.
Okay.
He's a very good passer as well.
I've seen Holman a few times. Yeah.
That's something that's I don't know if I'd say it's underrated about Teat because his goal
passing.
Scoring. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he is.
His goal scoring prowess is obviously huge.
Yep.
But I mean, he can put passes on a dime and throw it inside to anybody and put it on a rope, and it's a goal automatically.
Yeah, he keeps you on your toes when you're calling one of his games, and whether you're watching one too. Obviously, you're defending him. It's no walk in the park.
Definitely.
What about Ethan Walker?
Yeah, I mean, well, he's not as much of an outside shooter. Yeah,
right. I'm surprised he didn't get picked.
I mean, he could have been. I don't know if he was. I don't know if he was in the PLL draft or not.
He might have been. I don't mean to put you on the spot. I was thinking of him because of Teat, because they're one, they're both Canadian, and two, they're both unbelievable players.
Well, it's that
at the attack spot,
right? It's that, or it's the possibility that Ethan Walker could be taking another year to play.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Jeff Teat, obviously.
Why is the expert?
Jeff Teat obviously will not be able to go back to Cornell, being an Ivy League school. They have no red shirts there. So there could be a possibility we do see him in a Hopkins jersey if he doesn't play professional. As you said, Cornell's previous head coach is now at Hopkins.
Peter Milliman, yeah.
John Grant Jr. is there as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
If you get another chance to redshirt, I would say Hopkins, being Jeff Teat. If I was in his position, I would go and play at Hopkins.
Yeah, play there. Play at Hopkins with a coach you're familiar with that knows how you're best utilizing your system.
Right.
And obviously, John Grant Jr. I mean, I love when you were talking with Eric Law about him because they were teammates when they played for Denver for the Outlaws. They won a couple of championships in the MLL.
Yeah. So I mean, I think
amazing guy.
That would be a pretty good place for Teat to go. But the only thing that might take away from it is the education side. Obviously, everyone knows that Hopkins is it's a doctor school.
Oh yeah.
And if Teat doesn't really, if he's not finding anything there that will work for his education, it might not work out in that way. So we'll see how that goes, but definitely a very interesting pick from Chaos.
Yeah, that's solid.
And as Andy Towers put it, I think this is the biggest steal of the draft.
Oh, I would agree based on what you read to me. And, I mean, I usually in a normal year, I do about anywhere from 10 to 12 college lacrosse games a year.
Yep.
And, again, this kid's helped me, further my my knowledge and just the game itself, through his love for it. So it's, for sure.
And then after the chaos, the second to last pick, Redwoods take Chris Price from High Point, defenseman.
Okay.
I mean, everyone knows that Redwoods already has one of the best defensive teams in the league for sure.
Okay.
I mean, you've got pretty much those Notre Dame, championship run teams, I should say, that they had, guys like Eddie Glazner, Garrett Apple, John Sexton, Matt Landis.
Is he still using a wood stick, by the way?
I believe he is, yeah.
That's awesome.
He's using a traditional pocket.
That's
it's
awesome.
Not a wood stick.
Well, but he did in college, right? Wasn't it wood?
No, it was a traditional pocket.
Okay, all right.
So, I mean, you have that core. You had another guy from High Point who was on High Point's been a pretty good up-and-coming program.
They really have.
Couple years.
They really have. They've had some big wins in their time.
Yeah, they've done a great job with that program. It's a good pickup. Another solid defenseman, good stay-at-home kind of guy. He's going to help, inside out. And he's just a good pickup for Redwoods for sure.
Stuff, man.
The last pick in the draft from Whipsnakes was Matt Hubler from Johns Hopkins.
Okay.
More of a D-midi, but certainly a two-way type of player. Jim Stagnita put it, good pickup for us. He's not at his ceiling yet. He's definitely got a lot longer of a way to go, but he's going to be good for our team and good for a long time in this league.
All right.
So definitely a good pickup for them. And that rounds out the draft. Overall, I think it was definitely a pretty good draft. Me being an Archers fan, I'm pretty excited about Grant Ament on that team. The things that he did at Penn State are some of the most impressive lacrosse I've seen in the past couple of years for sure, especially with him and Mac O'Keefe and that connection that those guys had for sure.
Yep.
But definitely it was a good draft, and I'm excited to see the championship series start July 25th on all the networks of NBC. So
it's I think we touched on it a little bit last week when we did. I think we touched on it last week, didn't we? When we taped one, Wednesday we did one of these, and so I said last week we had to, this is our 36th episode we've done.
Yeah,
we got 4 new ones in the can that are going to start coming out tomorrow.
Yep.
So we're over. Can you believe we've done 40 of these?
It's a lot.
I mean, we haven't done them all together,
right?
Because me, obviously, I'm your father,
right?
The hockey bug just will never leave me.
Right.
So we've done Luke and I have probably done half of the 20 we've done. Freddie Pletch and I have kind of teamed up to do a lot of those hockey ones, and we got a couple really good guests coming up. Actually, 3 really good guests coming up. We're going to tape tomorrow.
Awesome.
And a couple really good ones we did earlier this week. So can you believe we've done this many?
I mean, it's crazy to think about, but really haven't had a lot to do. Just kind of been pushing these out, as much as possible. So I think it's definitely pretty interesting to look back and think about it. But but it's pretty cool to to be able to the fact that we've done this many, it's pretty awesome. So.
Yeah, I mean, we started doing it literally on my phone.
Yep.
Right? We did 4 on the phone.
Yep.
We had Feely on. We had Starman on.
Yep.
Those are the first couple we had with guests. And we've done a few in this form, which I love because I just love sitting next to my son and he's just talking sports. And I'm like, wherever you want to go, man.
Right.
Just tell me. I got the iPad in case I need to do a little research.
Yep.
And I think I may a little bit later in this episode
Possibly,
at some point.
Yeah.
I'm fired up about it.
Yeah. So
anyway, it's been a ton of fun, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
And let's just keep having fun and doing them. And hopefully those that are watching and listening on all our platforms, you're enjoying them. And we really appreciate everybody listening and watching. So anyways, I'm done with our shameless self-promotion.
Yeah, well, it's certainly been great to kind of switch gears a little bit here on the podcast.
Shifting.
One thing that I saw today, scrolling through Instagram, so I believe it would have been 3 years ago today, Kawhi Leonard, Eastern Conference Finals, or Western Conference Finals.
Struck a nerve with him.
Game 1. Obviously, I'm sure everyone knows the play that we're talking about when Zaza Pachulia, I'll say it, he did undercut Kawhi. Kawhi landed wrong and was taken out of that game. We ended up winning Game 1, I believe. We were down 25 at home, Golden State.
I just want to clarify there.
Yeah. Read through the comments. As much as it pains me to do that, I do find it interesting what people have to say about certain things like that.
I do every day.
A couple of people were saying, if it wasn't for Kawhi going out, the Spurs would have won the entire title that season.
Nope. What year was this? 17?
2017, with
No
the
way.
first year that they had Kevin Durant.
No way.
Golden State had picked up Kevin Durant that year, the first year.
Not happening.
I saw that. That somebody else had said this is another asterisk for a Golden State championship, 3 for 3.
Why do they always hate on him?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, and this is probably going to be biased, I'm sure people are probably going to
I'll balance it out.
I'm sure people are probably going to give me a little bit of flack for this on social media just because I'm a Golden State fan. Hate me all you want. I really don't care.
He just loves Curry.
Well, I love Curry and I love the team.
I'm starting to like Steve Kerr more and more.
Yeah.
I already like the guy.
Yep.
But as the episodes go on, I'm starting to like him more and more.
Yeah,
Sorry,
for the
Luke.
Last Dance. Yep.
I think he's great.
Yeah. I mean, I think people are so against Golden State because, one, I mean, you have such a great team. They went 73-9 the year before they picked up KD.
Right.
And I think people dislike the Warriors because of what they've done to basketball.
What have they done?
Well, most people will say now all the league does is shoot threes, and that's it.
It's basketball. It's part of the game.
Right. And, the game has changed, obviously, from the 80s and the 90s, the era that we're seeing right now.
You've been seeing a lot of that. Yeah, so it has.
The game has changed a lot, but I've seen a lot of people say Steph Curry has ruined the game. Golden State's ruined the game. All anyone wants to do is shoot threes anymore.
Don't agree.
There's no athleticism involved. There's no style.
Don't agree with that either. There's plenty of athleticism.
Exactly. And to me, I would say to that, well, to the people that saying that Golden State, Steph Curry ruined the game, all they can do is shoot threes. You don't watch enough basketball and you watch highlights.
I agree with you.
Because most of the
fundamentals, man. Fundamentals.
Yes. Well, most of the highlights that you're going to see when you're watching Golden State and Steph Curry, it's going to be 3-point shots.
You're going to see slam dunks from other guys, is what I meant.
Right. But you're going to see, I mean, obviously Steph Curry, Klay Thompson have broken multiple 3-point records. Klay currently holds the record for most 3-pointers in a game with 14.
14 in a game?
Yep. That was when he had 52 against Chicago. I think they were up by about 35. It might have been more than 35 at half.
Wow.
I believe it was already 92 to 25, I think, something like that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Was this
that was back in the I believe it was 2018-2019 season.
I thought maybe it was when you and I were playing 2K.
No.
I stink at that game.
But yeah, it was against Chicago, So people just look at highlights. They say, oh, all they can do is shoot threes, when you have to really watch games to understand how Steph Curry plays, understand how Klay plays. I mean, they're definitely the greatest shooting backcourt of all time. I will
no question about it.
And the other thing is, too, they're probably some of the best off-ball players we've seen in our time as well.
Great point, Luke.
If you really take away – because when people watch basketball, if you're just a very, average fan.
Casual fan.
Yeah. You're really just watching the offense. You're not watching the defense. You're not watching what the other guys are doing off the ball. The reason why Steph Curry and Klay Thompson get open so much is because they run these off-ball plays.
Yep.
They make tons of passes to get the defense, split up and run around the court and get everyone confused, ruin the defensive rotations for everybody. They get so open because they're running off-ball, running on off-ball screens, getting open, doing different things to get themselves open for those types of shots. So that's what you're seeing in highlights. But you're not seeing, the assist numbers that Curry's put up in his career. You're not seeing the defense that Klay Thompson plays. And I mean, he's probably one of the best lockdown guards in the league.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You don't see that. A lot of people, give Draymond a lot of flack for the way that he plays.
Good Michigan guy.
But they don't realize, he's probably the closest thing to Dennis Rodman we've had.
It's a great point. You mentioned that earlier when we were when Luke was doing some editing for the other episodes I mentioned, and that's a great point. He's very similar when I stop and think about that.
Yeah.
Incredibly similar. I mean, he's not going to drop, 15, 20 points a night on you. I mean, he's not going to average. What's his average? Do you know offhand?
I don't know what his career average is, but
I'm going to guess it's probably
I think it's somewhere
12 to 15.
Somewhere in the teens, somewhere around there.
Maybe I'm low. I'm a Michigan State guy, so don't get on me.
Right.
But I mean, he's not going to blow you away with that, but he does all those other things.
Yeah.
The things that a lot of guys won't do.
Right.
So that's a great comparison.
It's that, and he can guard all 5 positions.
Yes.
if
Well, he's
anyone,
what, 6'9"?
well, yeah,
6'8", 6'9"?
well, I think he's got like a 7-foot wingspan too, something like
very
that.
long.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people forget, back when Kevin Durant got there, the original death lineup was Steph Curry,
Death lineup.
Klay Thompson, Harrison Barnes, and Andre Iguodala, and Draymond Green.
I liked him a lot too. I loved Iguodala. I thought he was a really good player.
Yeah.
And really, really, I just thought underestimated guy.
Definitely.
He was the MVP of the finals one year.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
2015, the first year that Golden State won the finals.
And I've always liked his game. That's a heck of a lineup.
Yeah,
that is death.
Definitely. You have that old lineup before KD got there. Obviously, and I'll say it probably was one of the weakest moves of any superstar in the history of probably sports for Kevin Durant to come play at Golden State. But looking from his perspective, his thoughts were, well, I don't know if I can win at OKC. I got to go somewhere else.
Why not?
It's my time to move on. I'm a free agent this year.
Yep.
Might as well go somewhere I can win. And he did some pretty impressive things at Golden State.
He really did.
Obviously, I wish he was still here, like most Golden State fans do. But good luck to him in Brooklyn when he gets healthy.
Yep. Is he going to play this year? What do you think? I mean, nobody knows anything. We don't know if the NBA is even going to play.
Right.
But do you think he'll play if they come back? Do you think he plays?
It's hard to say.
What's your gut instinct?
I could see him maybe trying to come back. It would probably be very limited. But, I mean, I don't know really what a lot of these guys have been doing currently with what's going on, especially with KD being in Brooklyn. I mean, he might be out in LA or in California. I mean, he's got a house in both places.
Right.
But, if he's been out in that Brooklyn area, I mean, that's been one of the most infected spots in the country.
Right. And he had it.
Right. So, I mean, it's the
virus, that is.
Yeah, it's hard to say whether or not he's been able to still get, the same treatment and physical therapy that he's been doing before this happened.
Right.
But if he does come back, I definitely could see it being limited.
Yeah, I'd be with you on that.
But, I mean, knowing Kevin Durant, he's a competitor. If he can come back and play, even if it's limited, he's going to come back and play.
Yeah.
But kind of getting back on track a little bit, I do enjoy watching First Take. I love Stephen A. Smith. I think he has a lot of great things to say about really any sport that they talk about. And I really like him as an analyst for sure. And they were talking about, well, does Golden State need another player to continue their dynasty and win another championship? And I would say, yeah, there does need to be another all-star caliber player. A lot of people still consider Draymond an all-star, but his scoring prowess has definitely gone down in the past few years.
Yeah, I'm going to look him up while you're talking about
this. His defensive ability is still there, but he definitely doesn't produce as much as he used to on the offensive end. He can't shoot like he used to. So I think having another small forward or a center, an all-star type player like that would really help.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the addition of Andrew Wiggins is a big deal for Golden State. He's not at that all-star level yet, but I still think they can develop him into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at this point in Wiggins' career, he's really willing to go through that process and become a better player and really live out to his fullest potential as a basketball player in the NBA. But we'll see what happens with that. But they were saying, 2015, they re-aired Game 6 of 2015, the finals, and Game 3 of the 2017 finals last night on ESPN.
I caught a little bit of the 17 game.
Yeah. And obviously 2015, that was the first year they had won. And I thought it was funny, they were saying, oh, well, we consider it an asterisk on the 2015 championship because Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love were hurt.
What about last year's?
Well, they did.
In reverse, when the Warriors lost and they didn't have Durant, blew his Achilles out.
Yep.
They didn't have Clay, blew his knee out.
Yep.
Who else was Curry banged up at any point of that? I mean, he didn't miss any time, did he?
I don't know if Steph was out for any of the games. I think Draymond was out a little bit with knee problems.
By the way, I was wrong. He's listed as 6'6".
6'6".
And his career average is 9 points a game. In 1920, he'd averaged before the shutdown 8 points a game.
Yes.
There we go. Just getting a little housekeeping there.
But yeah, I mean, you had a lot of guys in and out of the lineup. Kevon Looney was struggling with it was a cartilage issue in his chest, where if he took a bump, he'd have possible internal bleeding.
Right.
He had to get surgery for that in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
He still didn't. I don't believe he still played in this current season that was unfortunately halted. But
yeah.
I mean, you had a lot of guys in and out of the lineup. I mean, you got Steph trying to do everything on his own.
Right.
A lot of people are going to say, oh, well, Kawhi's greatness overcame the Warriors. I would disagree with that because even without Kawhi, Toronto is still one of the best teams in the East this year.
Yeah, they are, and I'm not going to back away just because you're a Warriors fan or not.
Right.
Outside opinion, if Durant's healthy and Thompson are healthy, Toronto doesn't win the title.
No, they don't.
They don't.
I mean, we took them to 6 games with a pretty jumbled lineup.
When Durant go down, Game 5?
Well, he didn't play until Game 5, and that's when
right.
he tore his Achilles.
Yeah, right.
That's and if anybody remembers, Game 5, he was 100% from the field until he got hurt.
He was on fire.
He was 100% from the field
until
he got
2K.
hurt. Yeah. So he goes down. Clay, everyone knows the legend of Game 6 Clay. That's when he has his best games, whether it's the playoffs or the finals.
Right.
I believe he had 29 points that night before he had
his knee.
Torn his ACL. And he wanted to go back out and take those 2 free throws, which he did. Right. I believe he made 1 of 2.
I think you're right. I think we were watching it
together.
We were.
Yeah. If Clay wouldn't have gotten hurt, he probably would have had at least 35 or 40 that night.
Right.
And would have won Game 6 at Golden State, would have taken it to a Game 7.
Then you never know.
Toronto.
Flip a coin.
Exactly.
Yep.
A lot of people are still saying, Steph can't do it. He's not good enough in the playoffs, not good enough in the finals. He did have he got off to a rough start in Game 1, but Game 2, Game 3, Game 4, he was putting up 30 points around that kind of area. Definitely looked a lot better. The thing that people have to understand is when you're so good for a long time, teams figure out how to guard you. And that's really what was going on with Steph. And when you only have one guy to focus on, it's pretty easy to lock a guy down and make it harder for him to make shots. So I think that's how it affected Steph, in my opinion. But I do think it's pretty. I don't like when people have to say, "Oh, well, let's put an asterisk on every single Golden State championship and forget it happened."
It's not right.
They won.
Why are they getting picked on?
Well,
that's my thing. Like, why
right.
are they the team that is like, oh, well, they had this and they had that, but they're not really that good.
Right.
Well, they obviously won.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. Whether I'm a Warrior fan or not, they won the thing.
Right.
And when you added Durant to that mix, I know they won without him.
Right.
I know they had all the success in 16 and didn't win.
Yep.
But I don't know. I don't understand where that comes from. I think it's fans that are jealous.
Yeah.
That just dislike him. And, it's kind of like Jordan touching on what he said a little bit in one of the episodes from the weekend in The Last Dance. He's like, well, it's because you never won anything.
Right.
Right. I think that's a lot of it too.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I can definitely see that side of it. The other side of it, I think, too, is just because, people don't look at Klay Thompson and Steph Curry as like, oh, these are the, greatest athletes we've ever seen. They're not, Klay's a big dude. He's, I believe he's around 6'7" or so.
Yeah.
But, Steph's 6'3". He's built really well. But coming in, a lot of people said when he got drafted back in 2009,
he's gonna get banged around.
He's not going to make it.
Yeah.
He's too small.
Yeah.
He's weak. He's frail.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know the things that he went through with his ankles and his ankle surgeries, and the struggles he had early in his career with that. People forget how good of a rookie year he had too, though.
Remind me.
He had a really good rookie year. I believe he had a triple-double that year as well.
Let's check him out.
He didn't win Rookie of the Year that year, but he was a very important player for them. I want to say he averaged around 23
as
points
a rookie?
per game as a rookie. Yeah, somewhere around there.
I'm pulling him up right now.
The connection he built with Monte Ellis before Monte left, was a big part of him coming on that team, being important for them. But, I think a lot of people just look at Golden State and think, they're the small guys. They play small ball. And,
right.
Steve Kerr is not a great coach. I hear that all the time.
Oh, get out of here.
And if anyone's going to sit here and say Steve Kerr's not a great coach, well, think of who he played for. Phil Jackson.
He's got 6 rings, man.
Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich.
Yeah.
2 of arguably the greatest coaches of all time in the NBA.
I said it earlier, but now that we're there, he's been awesome in that document.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's been really terrific.
Yeah.
The whole thing when he popped Jordan, hit him in the chest, and Jordan pops him in the eye, and he gained Michael Jordan's respect.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tease one of our episodes, Mike O'Donnell, who's a former UCF guard, a guy that works college basketball for CBS Sports Network. I've worked with Mike a few times.
Yep.
He said the same thing, man. He said, look, you got to understand. He told me we taped yesterday or 2 days ago, and he said, here's what you got to understand. He's like, Steve Kerr was the man coming out of Arizona.
Yeah.
Like he was a hell of a player.
Yeah, he was.
And so he wasn't afraid to stand up to Jordan. That part to me has been awesome to see.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And to me, one thing to think about, if anybody remembers the Christmas game from this year against the Houston Rockets, I remember it very well.
I know you do.
If anyone knows the rivalry between Golden State and Houston, it's a pretty I don't know if I compare it to the bad boys into Chicago, but we definitely hate each other for sure.
No, but yeah.
You got a healthy Houston team coming in. They still had Clint Capella at the time.
Yep.
They're playing against rookies, bench players, and one all-star player in Draymond Green. I don't know. I can't remember if D'Angelo Russell played that game or not, but you got a fully healthy Houston team. James Harden's perfectly fine. He got shut down that entire game. We beat Houston at home. Golden State beat Houston at home that game. If you're going to sit here and say Steve Kerr can't coach, watch that game.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that.
All right. So here's the answer to your question.
On Steph, yep.
17 and a half is
17.5.
First year in
Okay.
09-10, played 80 games.
Yep.
15-16, averaged 30. I mean, obviously, it was unbelievable.
Unanimous year.
Incredible
unanimous
year.
MVP.
So, career average 23.5 points a game.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, too, his would have been 4 years ago, earlier this week, or last week it might have been, was the 4 years ago anniversary of Steph Curry winning that unanimous MVP.
Right.
And again, reading through the comments, a lot of people saying, "Oh, he should have been the first unanimous MVP." He doesn't deserve that award. Things like that. It's like, they won 73 games. I mean, how do you not pick this guy? I mean, they were the most entertaining team that year to watch.
Yep.
I mean, the game that comes to my mind is that overtime win in OKC when he hits the 27-footer with about 0.6 seconds left on the clock, drains it with two guys in his face, and wins the game. And keep in mind, that same game, I believe he had 46 points that night.
Okay.
That same game, he goes out with Russell Westbrook coming on. He was trying to chase down block Steph on a fast break play, lands on Steph's ankle, basically looked like he had rolled it. Well, he did roll it.
Yeah.
Comes back and wins them the game.
Wow. Dude shot 45.4% from downtown that year.
Yeah, well, he's in the 50-40-90 club. He's in the 50-40. I believe he averages 91% from the free throw line in his career. Somewhere around there.
Field goal percentage, 47%.
Yep.
Almost 48.
Yep.
3-point percentage in his career, 43.6.
Yep.
And his free throw percentage is 90.5.
90.5. So
not
close,
too shabby.
Close to 91%.
But he's not very good.
Right.
According to some.
Yes. But, obviously the Golden State hate is going to be around probably until all those guys retire, to be honest.
Yeah.
I would compare it a little bit to the Patriots because everyone hates the Patriots unless you're a Patriots fan.
Unless you're from Boston, yeah.
Yeah. Unless you're a Patriots fan, you pretty much don't like the Patriots. For me, I have a lot of respect for obviously Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski. Really excited to see Gronk back in the NFL. I think it's going to be pretty fun to watch Tampa this year for sure.
Yeah, I'm not surprised he came back. To be honest with you, he's only 30. I think he's 31 today. He's still, obviously his body is taking a beating. And,
right.
He's always played that reckless, just take it at you kind of style of football from the tight end spot. And,
yep.
I'm not surprised they're back either. So.
Yeah, but I would compare Golden State a little bit to that, and even the Bulls. I mean, people, in my generation don't know because we didn't grow up in that time. Obviously, we see it now. But if you weren't a Bulls fan, you hated the Bulls.
I didn't like them.
Yeah.
I know I got a Bulls hat up. It's a prop for the set.
Right.
So,
but
doesn't mean I like him.
Jordan wins. He wins the first three-peat. Takes a year off.
Yep.
Comes back. Wins another three-peat, retires again. I mean,
ridiculous.
if you weren't a Bulls fan or a Jordan fan, you hated the Bulls.
Yep.
That's how it was.
Well, I mean, as a Piston fan, I did not. I had zero problem. So you can barely see him in there. Magic
and MJ.
Jordan covering Magic. So I was a Laker fan because of Magic.
Right.
You know, in the 80s in my, from like 10 years on till, you know, whenever Magic stepped away.
Yep.
I never hated the Lakers, like in a fan sense, like hated them.
Right.
I hated Boston.
Yeah.
I just, because Boston was Detroit's Chicago.
Exactly. Yep.
You know, as you've learned in this thing and watching it, I did not like Boston. I liked Larry Bird and respected him.
Yeah.
You know, I got a picture over there. I should probably hang up behind us at some point with him and Magic in the championship in '79.
Yeah.
So I never, like I said, I never hated the Lakers, but I couldn't stand the Bulls when they were in their heyday. You know, I mean, I marveled watching Jordan. I love watching Jordan. I had the shoes, the tracksuit, all that stuff. But I mean, I was not a Chicago fan.
Right. You know,
and we're from Detroit. We're not supposed to root for Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago's not supposed to root for us.
Right.
So,
yeah. I mean, you know, you've got that, you know, and then on top of it, I think everyone just, you know, as you kind of touched on, everyone hates a winner, you know.
A lot of times people do, yeah.
Especially when people keep winning and
Yep.
keep doing great things.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard for people to accept that.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, you know, obviously it was a disappointment for me to watch Toronto win and hoist that championship last year, especially because, you know, I mean, they basically got gifted Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, I still don't have a lot of respect for Kawhi personally. The way he left San Antonio, and the fact that, you know, just because even though they won the championship last year, they couldn't get Paul George in Toronto. That's why he left and went to the Clippers. I don't have a lot of respect for that. He might be one of the best players right now.
He is. He's one of the best.
Yeah, he is.
There's no question.
But I don't have a lot of respect for the things he's done throughout his career, and I still don't think he's at that peak level to where people – I mean, I've heard people say he's the greatest player of all time. He's better than Kobe Bryant.
No, he's not.
He's not close yet.
He's not.
He's just kind of starting to hit his prime. He's right. He's kind of in that, you know, but even the Clippers this year have had a pretty shaky year, I would say. For as great as that roster was supposed to be on paper, they've had a pretty rough year.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, oh, well, you know, injuries and guys have been in and out in the lineup, and Kawhi likes to sit all the time in the regular season. I get it.
Right. Load management.
But the regular season, in a sense, does matter because of seeding.
Yeah, of course.
If you're not getting home court advantage, especially in the finals, I mean, if you're playing against guys like, you know, Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks,
that dude.
When the Nets are healthy, and if they add another player like Kyrie wants them to.
Yeah, or when Durant comes back.
Right. You got Kyrie, Durant when he gets healthy.
Yeah.
And then Kyrie has said we need a third All-Star. You add that in the mix.
So who's out there? Do we know or not?
No one has really been said, and I don't even know if Brooklyn's really looked into it yet. Because I think that was Kyrie just kind of being disappointed in the season, to be 100% honest. But you know, then you got teams like Boston. I mean, Boston's had a great season. Jason Tatum's on the up and coming.
Yep.
Gordon Hayward's finally starting to kind of come back around.
Mm-hmm.
Kemba Walker's always been a great point guard in the league. Very underrated in my opinion. Brad Stevens is a really, really good coach. He's going to be a great coach for a long time.
He is.
You know, Boston's in the mix. Miami's in the mix too. I would throw Miami in there. Memphis, if they get a couple guys, I mean, Ja Morant is definitely winning Rookie of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think anybody can argue that.
No, I wouldn't argue that.
Kendrick Nunn himself said, oh, I think I should win it. But Kendrick Nunn has had a good rookie year, but compared to Ja, not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close. You know, and I thought it was funny, you know, going back to that Kendrick Nunn saying, oh, yeah, well, you know, he's not on a playoff team. Memphis is in the playoffs. If you ended the season now and went right to the playoffs, Memphis is in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Along with Miami.
Well, it sounds like but last thing I've seen and looked at yesterday, it sounds like it's going to be anywhere from 2 to 4 more weeks before the NBA makes any kind of final decision on what they're going to do. I would not want to be Adam Silver.
Yeah.
You know, think about this. You know, March 12th, right? March 12th it was.
Yep.
When Gobert tested from Utah positive, and that was the biggest domino that fell.
Right.
Bam. Well, it was the first major domino that fell, and then every other one has fallen since.
Right, exactly.
In this sense, if they come back and God forbid something happens and turns the other way with, you know, a bunch of guys, you know, again, God forbid getting infected.
Yeah.
It's going to shut everything down. That's my concern, Luke, as number one, doing what I've done for 26 years of my life.
Yeah.
And me and hundreds, thousands of other people.
Yep.
Not just announcers. I mean, I love the people I work with.
Yeah.
And there's, for us to do a broadcast, you're talking 30, 35 people, most games.
Right.
And all those people are out of work too. So, I think it would be a massive setback, and that's the decision. I mean, the NHL said yesterday, Gary Bettman I'm not quoting him here, but they're going to do everything they can do to try and play.
Yeah.
And is it the right thing? I think in a way it is.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point we have to move forward.
Right.
I understand there's lives we're dealing with and people are dying from this thing. I get that. But at some point we got to move forward.
Yeah.
And when that is, I'm not going to make that choice, obviously.
Right.
States are going to make that. And, yesterday, our governor here in Michigan, she announced that there will be no fans at any sporting events for the rest of the year.
Yep.
I mean, we're in the middle of May.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of May, and things are just, everything's canceled now.
Right.
Nothing seems to be postponed.
Right.
Everything seems to be, we're just going to cancel it.
Yep.
We're going to cancel it. Done. We're going to cancel it. No makeup date.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
rant over.
Right. And to touch on the NBA a little bit with that, I saw something about, I'm not going to, I don't know if I'm going to really remember every single player that was on this call, but
okay. I'm going to go check them out a little bit.
LeBron, Kawhi Leonard,
yep.
Kevin Durant, Steph Curry.
I saw the same report
Giannis,
you're talking about.
I think there were a couple other guys, but they all had a private conference call saying we want to play again.
Right. Yeah, of course they do.
And now, I'll ask you this.
Yeah,
the NBA has gone around asking all of their players just this one yes or no question. Do you want to play again?
Yeah. Don't ask baseball.
Right. What's your take on the NBA doing that, going around asking the guys?
I think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the ones that are going to play.
Right.
I think you have to. I mean, they're the guys that are, they're the ones out there that are making the money.
Yeah.
100%. Without them, you don't have a league. You don't have the ability to make money. You don't have your games on television. You don't have, like we were 2 months ago.
Right.
Arenas packed.
Yep.
And you're not going to have that for a long time, in my opinion, for I don't know how long, but I think it's definitely going to be this year. I don't think that's, a surprise to anybody. I think we'd all agree with that, the way things are going. So I think it's the right thing. I think they should ask.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't want to put them out there, and, these guys they're businesses and entities in their own right.
Yep.
As much as they're part of the team they play for, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it's the right thing to do.
Definitely.
What do you think?
I agree. I mean, obviously it's up to the players. It would be behind closed doors as most of these leagues are going.
Yeah.
La Liga in Spain, Bundesliga, the Premier League, pretty much most of the major soccer leagues are planning on coming back and playing again. I know the La Liga president himself had said there's no real risk for our players to play behind closed doors.
Right.
Which I do, agree with. And obviously if there's more than a few guys tested positive, then you kind of have to roll things back a little bit. But, I do think, it is up to the players. It's at this point, it is at their own risk, because everything probably will be behind closed doors for the most part. If we're going to finish, seasons or, start seasons.
Start playoffs or, with baseball, are they going to start?
Right.
I mean, there's a proposal on the table now. The young man Snell that pitches for Tampa Bay has come out and said, I'm not playing. It's too risky.
Yeah.
Nobody's convinced me yet that it would be too risky in that sense, because like you said, you're going to play in empty arenas.
Yep.
Guys are going to be tested. I don't know what the concern is there. I really don't.
Yeah.
The MMA, watching those highlights, or not MMA, UFC.
Yep.
That you made a point about that earlier, because we've had, TV on in here and doing stuff, and it's on now. And, those guys are bleeding sweat. I mean, you're going to have sweat, obviously. And, those things. I mean, is the virus transmitted through that? Who knows? I don't know.
Right.
I would think it probably, I don't know.
Right.
I just don't know. There's so many things that we, as a society, in the day and age we're living in, it's like watching the news.
Yeah.
I've kind of given up. I'm only watching a little bit.
Right.
Because I just don't know what to believe.
Yep.
I've watched certain news channels for years, and excuse me, even on those, I don't know what to believe. You don't know what's true. You don't know what's being made up. It's just, I don't know. It's difficult right now with that. So I've just had to step away from that. I only watch it a little bit a day. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I think it's going to be a very interesting, to see what, in the coming weeks, what happens with some of these leagues and what they decide to do. Obviously, the Premier Lacrosse League, as we said last week, will be playing their championship series, fully quarantined, no fans.
That's cool. I'm glad they're doing that. It's going to be great for sports.
Yeah, great for sports, great for lacrosse. Get the word out there that lacrosse is one of the most up-and-coming and best sports to watch. I mean, even watching some of the draft last night, you got highlights going on, in between, with, the college guys that are getting drafted, and even, some of last year's highlights, I saw one play, with chaos when Andy Towers was taking Jeff Teat, they showed a play. It was Connor Fields, comes around from X, one backhand flip to Josh Byrne. Josh Byrne completely covered behind the back goal. I mean, how are you not entertained?
Right.
So I'm excited to watch those guys. And I think things are going to definitely work out there for them.
Yeah, I hope so. I think it's going to be great. Like you said, I mean, it's going to put that sport, in the mainstream like it's never been.
Right.
And, hopefully nothing changes with that.
Yeah.
They're mid-July, right? Late July?
July 25th to August 19th, I believe.
Excuse me. So, late in the summer and, not really late in the summer, kind of in the middle of the summer, basically. So, have they announced where they're going to play yet?
No, I don't think they have. Right? I think it's, I correct myself, and I believe it's July 25th to August 9th is the playing day.
All right. So, late July, early August. So, yesterday, too, and I don't, we don't have to belabor this, but I thought it was interesting that they came out and they got some agreement with a group that they're going to allow gambling on their games. So, they're seeing the opportunity to – look, I don't know what other people are doing without sports. Yeah. Obviously, I'm impacted by it and have been, like I said, with thousands of other people around the country and people I'm very good friends with. We're all affected by it.
Yeah.
I don't know what people are doing. I mean, they're on social media, they're doing Zoom, they're, binging shows. I mean, let's be honest, we miss it, but I'm on the side too, as much as I've questioned some of those things. Like we were just talking about 5 minutes ago, like how if they're getting tested and they're not around anybody else, I don't know what the problem is.
Right.
But again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical expert. I'm not a, scientist. So I don't know. I mean, it's just, I think it would do a lot of really good things for just the mental psyche of us in our country.
Yeah. I agree.
think, as much as, many of us have been at home, many people are working at home now and, you want to get out, train with your teammates for college. You can't do that. I get it.
Yep.
I understand why. I think we do. But at the same time, I think that outlet for sports back in whether it's in empty stadiums or not, who cares?
Yeah.
Right now, let's just try to get them back. But we got to do it right. We got to do it the safe way. And those that make those choices are going to have some tough decisions to make here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be very interesting to watch, and to our healthcare workers and everybody on the front lines, once again, we say thank you and appreciate your services and everything you're doing to protect our country and do the right things and keep people safe and healthy. So I don't have anything else.
That's it?
I mean, if you do, I don't know if there's anything you want to touch on, but
what else can we touch on? Okay, I got something for you.
All right.
I got a little something for you. This is what I was referring to earlier about I'm looking forward to this.
Okay.
Am I going to remember my passcode here? Hold on. Give me a sec to find it.
Yep.
It's a basketball topic.
Okay.
And I saw it last night. I got to just find hold on one sec. I think it's going to be on here. You know where I'm going? It's not hockey.
Not exactly.
I said it's basketball.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if I can find this thing. Where are we at here? An hour ago, I got to scroll away.
Jeez.
Trying to find this list.
Oh,
there's the guy from Tampa. Rays pitcher Blake Snell.
Yep.
Said he plans not to return to the mound under the proposed revenue split in 2020.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm staying out of that. But, I mean, come on, dude. Just play.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Prince Fielder could be the highest paid player this year, even though he retired 4 years ago.
Wow.
I'm still looking for that. I should have been more prepared, Luke.
Yeah. It's all right.
Fox Sports will have crowd noise and virtual fans. See, I don't like that.
No, that's just.
I don't like that. There's no fans there. We know that.
Yeah. There's no.
I'm not a big. I saw that last night. I'm not a big fan of that.
No reason to do that.
Why can't I find this? Really? All right. I'm still looking here. There it is. There it is. You can't see it.
Okay.
All right. So a list was compiled of the top 10 players of all time in the history of the NBA.
All right.
I'm going to start from 10.
Okay.
Number 10, Shaquille O'Neal.
All right.
Number 9, Kobe Bryant. Number 8, Tim Duncan.
Okay.
Number 6, great bank. Best bank shot in the history of basketball from Tim Duncan. Number
Without a
7, Larry Bird.
Okay.
Number 6, Wilt Chamberlain. Number 5, Magic Johnson. Number 4, Bill Russell.
Yep.
Number 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay.
Number 2, LeBron James. And number 1, Michael Jordan.
Right.
Initial reactions when you – I'm going to leave that right here. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can
see
see
the
it.
iPad? All right,
Yeah.
there you go. So there's a list. I don't know how this was compiled. I found it. It's on Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
I believe ESPN did a poll.
Yes.
I don't know who they polled, but they might want to redo it. And that's my opinion. That's my early opinion of this. But I want to hear your opinion first.
Kobe at 9 is completely wrong.
Totally low.
Completely wrong.
Way too low.
I still can't believe that people are not giving Kobe Bryant as much credit.
It's ridiculous.
As he deserves.
He's got 5 rings.
I mean, if he's seeing this, from heaven upstairs, I'm sure he's thinking to himself, like, man, let me get back down
9?
there. Let me get back down there, come out of retirement, and
that would piss him off.
And tell everybody why I'm the greatest.
Right?
He has that same mentality as Jordan.
He would be pissed about that.
Kobe Bryant, to me, is the second greatest player of all time.
Wow.
Not only because of the championships he's won, but because of the things he's done, the way he's played. Some of the scoring games, he's had 81 points, 61 points.
In his last game. Goes out, drops 60.
Yeah.
Jordan-esque. That's
right.
Kobe-esque.
Yeah. Obviously Kobe catches a lot of flack for, he never passed the ball or, his assist numbers are too low. Well, you're a shooting guard. Keep in mind, it's in the name. Your job is to score when you were a shooting guard.
Like Jordan said, that's probably because you never won anything. Not you, I'm just saying it.
Right. No, I totally get it. But, that to me, that's the job of the two guard.
I'm glad to hear
you are a scorer.
I'm glad to hear you say
that's what you're supposed to be doing. A point guard is the playmaker. Yes, nowadays a point guard is more of your scorer as well.
Right.
But again, to go Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, just to name a few, Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, those guys can make plays just as easily as they can score baskets. But Kobe's way too low on that list.
I agree. Should Shaq even be in the top 10? That's a tough one.
I don't know because, the thing is like Shaq is such an unstoppable player.
Yeah.
But then, when you watch The Last Dance, when Shaq, his early days in the Magic, Michael Jordan blocked Shaq.
He did.
Not a lot of guys could say they've done that.
If he was, I love Shaq. I think he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan. Somewhere I've got a Shaquille O'Neal rookie card.
Really?
I need to find that.
Yeah.
Because you still got 3 more years of college, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I wouldn't sell it, man. I'm kidding.
Right.
All right. So what else don't you like about this and your 19 years and your great wisdom of the game and sports? What else don't you like about this, or what do you like?
Look, LeBron's a great player. He obviously does belong in the top 10 somewhere.
I agree with that.
At 2,
no,
maybe not.
No.
He hasn't won enough. His finals record is not great, as everybody knows. I believe
for you, The Last Dance has definitely opened your eyes.
Well, yeah.
To more of, because all this kid's heard is how great LeBron is.
Yeah.
And I get it. He's one of the greats of the game, but I'm with you, man. He shouldn't be at 2.
I've always thought that Jordan was great until obviously I've been able to see more of that now. And the thing that people don't realize, especially in my generation when they have this conversation, is you can literally go back and find all of these games.
Oh yeah.
It's not like Jordan, with Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain when they played when there was no television.
Right. Well, there was television, just black and white, man.
Right.
You don't even know what that is, do you?
Yeah, partially, but like it's harder to find those guys as games where
Right.
you can literally watch Michael Jordan's entire career.
Right.
We
have.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean,
One
it
more
might not be
weekend.
the greatest quality because everybody says, "Oh, if it's not 1080p or 4K, it doesn't look good." But
I'll be honest, I'm an HD snob.
right, I am
If
too.
it's not
but,
in HD, I'm like, I have a hard time watching it.
Right.
Like this morning, rain was coming through here, and so I have Dish, so you get rain fade and all that. I'm
Right.
like, I gotta watch this in standard def, really?
Yeah,
I was
right.
like, it's all right. At least I got TV.
Yeah.
Always positive.
But you can go back and watch Jordan,
Yeah.
and clearly see the things. I mean, some of the biggest games he had. I don't think LeBron should be up there.
I don't either.
I mean, obviously he's won 3 MVPs.
They got 5 Lakers on this list.
Yeah, I believe LeBron has won. He's won a Finals MVP in every Finals or every championship he's won.
Right.
Just like Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan's got 6.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people in the Heat days could obviously argue, maybe Bosh should have won the Finals MVP or Wade.
Right.
So I think those ones might be a little bit up more for debate than.
Is there an asterisk by him? I'm just playing with you.
I don't know if I'd say that.
I'm just playing with you, man.
I mean, I would say for LeBron too. I mean, not to beat a dead horse, and I want people to understand too. Yes, I'm a Golden State fan, but I don't hate LeBron.
No, he doesn't.
I have a ton of respect for
true.
LeBron. I really do enjoy watching the Lakers. Even when I was watching last night, Game 6, because I watched Game 6 more than I watched Game 3 of 2017. Back in 2015, I mean, some of the stuff LeBron was doing in Game 6, I mean,
yeah.
I was like, damn, that was a good shot. Or,
yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of respect for LeBron. I have I obviously when we were playing against him, I didn't like him.
Right.
But, even looking back, I will say, he did do a lot of great things in all those series against Golden State.
Yeah.
I will probably be the first to admit that. Maybe that people might say that, oh, you're not a loyal Golden State fan if you're admitting that. But you have to, at some point.
You got to respect the game.
Yes, and at some point you have to admit it. It's, I would compare it to me. I love Lionel Messi. I don't like Ronaldo as much.
Right. But
I have a lot of respect for him because he is one of the greats of all time.
Absolutely.
I like Ronaldo a lot more because he's not playing for Real Madrid anymore.
Right.
He's in Serie A playing for Juventus, which is not even in they're in Italy, not Spain.
Right.
So I obviously like to watch Ronaldo a bit more now, but it's the same thing. So LeBron, I don't think he should be at 2.
I don't either.
Who else?
There you go.
Yeah. So
you got Kareem.
Well, where is Hakeem?
Olajuwon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is Hakeem Olajuwon?
I don't know if I'd put him in the top 10.
he is. I believe he still has. Isn't he still scored has the highest scoring average or something like that? There's some.
I'd have to look it up,
but
I mean, I got no problem with Jordan. I got no problem, obviously.
Yep.
But no problem I'm with you. LeBron, I don't think should be at 2. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it now. Yep.
So Kareem at 3, Bill Russell at 4.
Yep.
I mean, personally, I'm sliding Bill Russell up to number 2, just because the guy won 11 titles.
Right. Yep.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, they named the most outstanding player now, the MVP of the finals after the guy.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, I'm moving him up. Didn't see him play. I'm not that old.
Yes.
I mean, my love for Magic's probably going to come out in this because what he did for the game in a time when they need – Bird and Magic, to me, they saved the NBA.
Yeah.
They brought the NBA out of the 70s when it was guys fighting. Have you ever watched any of those videos?
I've seen some of them.
Rudy Tomjanovich getting his nose busted by Kermit Washington. Yep. I mean, the NBA was thuggery. You thought the bad boys were bad.
Yeah,
Go back and try to find some clips from the 70s.
Right.
I mean, basketball was not in a good place then.
Yeah.
He revolutionized the position.
Yep.
I mean, he started as a rookie at 5 different spots in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unheard of. I know LeBron can do that.
Yeah,
but let's be honest. What those guys put on their fingers, those rings, that matters.
They do matter, definitely.
And he changed the game. I will say this. I feel that LeBron James is the closest thing I've ever seen to Magic.
Yeah,
he really is.
He definitely is.
He really is. I mean, the way he plays, they're both 6'9".
Yep.
Magic was not nearly. Now he's big.
Right.
I mean, he bulked up. He had to deal with HIV and he got his body bigger and stronger and to make himself a stronger human being. I'm with you, man. To me, Kobe is.
He's not.
To me, Kobe's. He's in the top 5.
He is.
He's in the top 5. He has to be.
Yeah. I mean, how can you not put him there?
Wilt Chamberlain, he should be in the top 5.
Wilt should be higher. Yeah.
Aside from that, I don't really have a problem. I guess what's your biggest surprise on the top 10? What surprises you above and beyond anything, Luke?
I mean,
here, I'll put it over here so you can see it more.
I mean, I would say Tim Duncan, but obviously Tim Duncan
won a lot,
career.
man.
Yeah, I know he did.
Yeah, I know you know.
But, I mean, I don't know. I guess, again, probably just LeBron being it too, really. But
I'm with you.
But again, I mean, I hear so many people talk about how great Hakeem was, and just not see him.
All right, let's look up Hakeem Olajuwon here.
To not see him in that list, I guess, is surprising to me. I would have figured they would have put him in over Shaq, maybe.
Let's look him up.
But I mean, again, I said earlier, I'm a big fan of Stephen A. Smith. He talks about all the time how great Hakeem was.
Should Curry be in the top 10?
No, not right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Not yet.
I would agree.
I would say if he wins 1 or 2 more, and then probably you'd have to win another MVP.
Another MVP, yeah.
I don't even know if I would say he needs another MVP. I would say he needs a Finals MVP.
Okay.
Because he doesn't have one of those. Because I mean, unanimous MVP. He's the first to ever do it.
That's impressive.
That to me counts for like 2 MVPs in itself.
Yeah.
No one has ever done that.
Yeah.
So you got that on his list, and I mean, you go back and watch all those that entire season highlights of him.
Yeah.
I mean, we've never seen anything like it.
All right, I'm still trying to look. Well, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah.
His career average was 21.8 points a game.
Okay.
11.1 rebounds a game.
Yep.
He was a 71% free throw shooter.
Okay.
51%, 51.2 field goals. Free throws mentioned 72. Yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, the dream, little Moses.
Yeah.
You remember when I met him a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
Houston.
Yep.
So I'm doing a game in Hoffein's Pavilion where Houston plays, where Phi Slamajama played, and Clyde Drexler and Hakeem and all those guys, and they had an unbelievable run there with Guy V. Lewis. And it was the last game that they were playing in Hoffein's Pavilion before they did a massive renovation. And now the building is named the Fertitta Center after a very generous donor down there. So I turn around. So Elgin Baylor is to my right, like 2 seats down.
Yeah.
I mean, legend. I mean, what about him?
Right.
I mean, he could be on the list. I mean, I'd have to look up numbers, but I don't know that he's in the top 10.
Yeah.
If he is, he's 9 or 10. But I mean, come on. But so he's right down doing radio, and I turn around and I look around and I look up, and there's Hakeem Olajuwon standing behind me and Chris Walker.
Wow.
You met Walks.
Yeah.
We were talking about that game with Pat Spencer, the Northwestern DePaul game.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's sweet.
And I mean, as a kid, I loved him, and he won 2 titles. I mean, the 2 years Jordan went away, who won the NBA titles?
It was Houston.
Bang.
Yeah. So
they won back-to-backs.
Yeah. So I mean, I think maybe Hakeem, I feel like, is missing in that one.
All right.
I mean, again, it's hard to say though. I mean,
yeah,
Shaq,
it is.
Because Shaq is really, Shaq is a very unstoppable player.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
But again, I can't get over Kobe being at 9.
I know.
How do you put Kobe at 9 over all those guys?
I don't know.
That's just my opinion.
I mean, again,
I really think he belongs at 2 behind Jordan. Just
I
because,
agree.
Again, he's the closest thing to Michael Jordan ever. He's even said that.
I don't agree. I'd put Russell 2, Kobe 3, Kareem 4,
and then probably Magic 5.
And Magic 5. So I get, I mean, I guess I don't really have a ton of disagreement in this. But I just don't think that, we're on the same page. Our big, and again, this is some poll that they did, and it means nothing, but it's certainly been fun to talk about.
Yeah.
And it's a great debate. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely an interesting list. Kobe should be higher, like I've said about 5 times now. I mean, Jordan's even said it himself. The only guy that can really beat me 1-on-1 is Kobe Bryant because he knows all my moves.
Right. Kobe Bryant was, obviously in high school.
Yeah.
Let's see. So he came out in 97. So, his sophomore and freshman year, Jordan wasn't playing.
Right.
My math is correct, and I believe it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, as a kid, that's all he saw.
Exactly.
That is all he saw.
Yep.
That's, I mean, just, I don't know. We've touched on a little bit. I know we're getting near the end of this thing here, but episodes 7 and 8 from The Last Dance. What's I just want to ask you, what are a couple things that are still fresh in your mind as I'm looking through my detailed notes here?
Yeah. I mean, I think the ending of episode 7 really reached out and touched me for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not exactly quoting here, but I mean, you got Jordan,
right there's the quote.
Pretty much going into tears.
There's the quote.
It says, if you don't want to play that way, then don't play that way.
Yeah. Break. He needed a break, man. He was choking up, man. He was choking up.
And I think he said that, because one, he did it for his dad. And two, because he just had so much of a competitive spirit and cared so much about winning and being the greatest. And, I mean, a lot of people, badmouth him because, he wasn't a nice guy and, he wasn't.
Well, BJ Armstrong said, was he a nice guy? And he paused.
Yeah.
He couldn't be a nice guy.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, if
he was awesome. I love his addition to the episodes, the last two, that, bringing him in.
Yeah. BJ's been great to have him for sure.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's, he's right. If you want to be that competitive and if you want to win that much, you can't be a nice guy.
Right.
But, you listen to some of the things that those guys said. I mean, Bill Wellington, I believe, was one of the guys at Wellington.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we hated the guy, he made us all better.
Right.
That to me is what you want out of your teammate, whether he's the best player on the team or not. You want every single guy on your team to be pushing you the hardest and making you better.
Yep.
If you want to win, if you want to be the best team, whether it's in basketball, hockey, lacrosse, whatever, you want guys that are going to push you.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to be challenged.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like when I go out and play golf, I want to, if I get a chance to play with a guy that's 5 to 10 shots better than me.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm going to shoot under, doesn't mean I'm going to shout 75.
Right.
The best round I've ever shot in my life was 81.
Yeah.
But it pushes you.
Exactly.
So, and to add to what you were saying, so they asked him in the episode, the question was, do you feel like, you are perceived as not being a nice guy? And he said, look, I wanted to win. I wanted them to be a part of it as well, to your point.
Exactly.
And he was the driver, man. There was one of the episodes, remember back, I think it was not this past week, but maybe in episodes 5 and 6 when he was on the bus.
Yeah.
Point 8, he was driving the bus, man. You're going to go. I mean, Wennington, like you said it. Judd Bushler said it.
Yep.
No, he wasn't. He was difficult to be around. BJ Armstrong said that.
Yeah.
But you know what? They won.
They did.
And when you're an athlete, you're playing at the highest level. Doesn't matter what level. Your goal is, to win and to win with your teammates. It should be anyway.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion.
I think another thing that stuck out to me.
What you got?
Obviously the 72-10 season.
Yeah.
One thing that stuck out, and I'm not going to get into the 73-9 team versus 72-10. The only thing I will say about it is
Kerr was part of both.
Well, but
that's pretty cool.
The other thing is, for some reason, I don't know who got this twisted in my head, but somebody always, it obviously wasn't you, it was some probably kids I went to school with. But
what is it?
Well, people always told me, they swept and won that year in 4 games in the finals. No, they didn't.
Oh, the Bulls?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was what? Was it 6 games?
It went game 6.
Yeah,
it was on Father's Day.
It went 6. Yeah, it went 6 games.
Yeah, I'm just looking through my notes. Yeah, June 16th, 96.
Yeah, and that stuck out to me because it's like, well, hey, even the 72,
even that team got tested.
Even the 72-10 team.
Yeah.
That everyone says would kick the Warriors' ass. They almost didn't win either.
That'd be fun, man. I wish we could do stuff like that.
I know, right?
I mean, you can in video games, obviously, but it's a video game.
But it's that stuck out to me, and obviously too, I've obviously seen the pictures of Jordan going in the locker room and crying, holding the ball,
but not the video.
No, and to understand better of why that exists, I know now. That was pretty. That was a pretty interesting watch too.
Yeah, it was powerful stuff. I mean, you could see his body. He was just the gamut of emotions, and then to do it on Father's Day, and and then the ending to episode 8, we got a chance to retire MJ.
Yeah.
I didn't know Cheryl Miller had a little brother. It's my Seinfeld coming out of me.
Yeah.
That was Elaine Bennis that said that, by the way. But yeah, you know what I love? I love the pickup stuff. How when he was doing Space Jam, it's like, I need somewhere I can work out. I mean, somewhere I can work out.
Right.
It was like Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
I mean, they built him a dome, so to speak, and a tent.
Yeah.
And this, full on NBA buckets and a court and weight room. And, that was pretty awesome.
That was cool.
That was neat. That was a neat element to see in the show. I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, well, if you watch the footage, from those games, notice who's on MJ's team.
I knew you were gonna go there
because I pointed it out to you.
Yes, you did.
Dennis Rodman, before he was signed by the Bulls, was on MJ's pickup team.
And our good friend Jason Colthorpe works at Channel 4 here in Detroit.
Yeah.
On Sunday afterwards, of course, I'm on Twitter and looking at stuff and tweeting a little bit, and he made a great point. He goes, as much as he hated the Pistons, he had 3 of them on their team.
Yeah.
He had Dennis Rodman, John Sally in 1 year, at least 1 year.
Yep.
James Buddha Edwards was a part of that team.
Right.
So, because he knew what kind of players they were.
Exactly.
Like, he touched on it. I'm not quoting again, but, he talked about Rodman. He's like, I knew what he could do as a basketball player.
Yeah.
He knew what he was about. He knew he could help them win.
Right.
And what a dynamic, man. I mean, that must have been a 3-ring circus with all those guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
I got to say, too, Dennis Rodman probably has some of the coolest hair I've ever seen. And I honestly,
you're gonna go green this year, or what?
Hell, why not? But
put your logo in the top of your head.
Yeah, but I just, this documentary has really, not only opened my eyes about Jordan and obviously Scottie Pippen, but I love Dennis Rodman now. I think, I think he's obviously one of the greatest guys to play.
No question.
Greatest rebounder ever.
That you'll get no argument from me on.
Probably the greatest one-on-one defender, I would say, too, and a team defender. I watched, they did an episode of Detail on ESPN Plus for anyone that hasn't watched it. It's not an entertaining thing. It's
Detail?
More, yeah, they
breaking down stuff.
Yeah, they just break down different. Kobe was the one who started it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. I haven't seen it, but I heard of it.
Yeah, and they had Dennis Rodman talk about the triangle offense. Just hearing Dennis Rodman's mind on the game. He as much as people back then would say he didn't know what he was doing and he was just some crazy dude. He was a damn good basketball player. He really knew what was going on.
And I'm not sure you're right. And I'm glad to hear you say that because, a lot of people, and again, it's people's opinions, but he was.
Yes.
He was a huge part of the success of the Pistons here.
Yep.
And obviously a huge part of it there. But was it in the first episode, second episode, or maybe it was somewhere in one of the first 3, I want to say.
Yeah.
When they showed they brought Rodman in for part of it. Yeah. And then you could see how much, to me you could see how much Rodman and Phil Jackson, they were really a lot alike.
I believe that was episode 3 that we were talking about. Yeah, because that was the Rodman episode. Yeah.
All right,
or no, it might have been 4.
Well, early on, it was early on.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But that I didn't really think about that, or really even, I wasn't really privy to that back then.
Yeah.
But they were really very similar guys in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
They were. It was really fascinating. So,
yeah.
All right. So we got into that top 10 thing, which was kind of fun. And we didn't really disagree on a whole lot. It's no good. We got to find something next time. We absolutely disagree on 100%.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
So think about that.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. But I think that's it for me. I think
that's a wrap.
Yeah, that'll be it for episode 36.
36.
Yeah. So we obviously hope that everyone enjoyed. Thank you for listening as always.
Thank you.
Thanks for the constant support that we're getting on the series, and we're trying to do everything we can to keep going up and making it bigger. And we hope that we can. So once again, thanks for tuning in to the No Holding Back podcast. My name is Luke Holden.
I'm Ben.
Thanks for listening. Have a good one.